You know, when you walk into an abandoned house, there is a very specific texture to the silence.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's heavy.
Right, it's heavy. But when Micah walks into her grandfather's Earthship home in Sedona, the atmosphere isn't just silent, it feels incredibly heavy, like physically
Yeah,
heavy.
because he's been missing for a while.
Yes,
Right, right, right.
exactly. And the Arizona sun is just, bleaching the sky white outside, but inside this off-grid house, the air is thick with dust. And there's this smell of gun oil and dried sage and something darker.
The book describes it like the underside of a river rock.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And the turquoise front door has faded to the color of an old bruise, and then sitting on the kitchen table, just casually left there like a grocery list, is a note. And it just says, "Gone to Guatemala. Don't wait up."
Which is, I mean, that is quite the way to announce you vanished.
Yeah.
Especially considering he's actually been missing for like 3 weeks by the time she finally finds that note.
It's the perfect hook. It pulls you right in. And that is the mission of our deep dive today. We are unpacking a gripping narrative sourced from a stack of fictional thriller chapters.
Yeah.
The story centers on this missing archaeologist grandfather who goes by Mojo, and a deeply cryptic treasure hunt and a deadly race down to the Guatemalan jungle.
And Mojo didn't just disappear into the ether. He left his granddaughter Mikah a highly deliberate trail of breadcrumbs.
Right.
We're talking an envelope smelling of cedar and gunpowder, a single brass key, a faded Polaroid of Mojo sweating in front of a Mayan stela.
Oh, and the journal?
Yes, a ruined leather journal. And the anchor, the whole mystery, the coordinates to a lockbox that he buried 50 years ago, deep in the roots of a ceiba tree by a river bend.
My first thought reading through this was that Mojo is acting like an eccentric escape room designer.
I mean, he kind of is.
Right, but the breadcrumbs quickly shift from playful to terrifying. Because this isn't a game for bragging rights. The stakes are life or death, largely because the clues he left behind hint at a mechanism or discovery that completely defies our standard understanding of physics.
To really grasp the danger, we have to look closely at the paperwork Mikah uncovers in that dusty Sedona house.
Yeah, let's talk about the paperwork.
Because Mojo didn't leave her gold or ancient jewels. He left a paper trail. The most prominent piece is a shipping manifest from his 1974 dig at a place they just refer to as Sector 4.
The manifest is such a subtle but unsettling detail because it lists ceremonial artifacts, jade figurines, and then one item is just labeled skeletal remains.
Right.
But someone has violently crossed out the phrase skeletal remains, and in Mojo's distinct handwriting right underneath it says, not bones.
Battery.
Battery.
I mean, think about the taxonomy shift happening in that single annotation.
It's wild.
A skeleton is passive, it's dead history, it's a remnant of something that used to be. A battery, on the other hand, is active, it stores energy, it discharges.
Yeah, right, it's doing something.
Exactly. He is telling Mikah that whatever is buried out in Sector 4 isn't an artifact to be cataloged in a museum. It's a localized source of power.
And an active threat. And that sense of danger is reinforced when Mikah looks at the Polaroid of the lockbox itself.
Oh, the mark on the box.
Yes, scratched into the rusty lid of the box is this crude star shape, the Chabial Mark.
And in standard archaeological terms, the Chabial Mark is far from a decorative motif.
No, it's a warning.
It's a pre-classic Mayan star symbol that functioned as a guardian sign. Historically, it was used to mark the burial sites of the Kuhul Ajawab, the deified rulers. It roughly translates to "don't touch."
Wow.
Yeah, it's a spiritual and physical hazard sign.
So if the lockbox has the ancient equivalent of a biohazard symbol on it, it begs the question of what's actually inside. Like you mentioned, it's not ancient gold.
Right.
Based on a hidden letter Mojo left for Mikah, the box contains the foundational documentation of that 1974 dig. Photographs, field notes, soil analyses.
Stuff he sent to 3 different major universities decades ago.
Right, and all 3 of those universities actively conspired to pretend they never received the data.
Which is crazy.
It's concrete evidence of a threshold that Mojo discovered in the jungle. A threshold someone is willing to kill to keep hidden.
And we have to talk about how he hid it, because the lockbox itself is a marvel of environmental engineering.
Oh, man.
Mojo's letter states, the box is buried inside the roots of a massive ceiba tree, and that the root system is actually the locking mechanism. And it requires 2 people to trigger it simultaneously.
Okay, I have to push back on the logistics of this.
Go for it.
Did this guy literally grow a botanical bank vault over 50 years? Like, how does one engineer tree roots to act as a dual key tumbler?
Well, When you look at the broader context of ancient Maya agroforestry, it starts to make terrifying sense.
Okay.
The Maya manipulated root systems for terra stabilization and complex architecture over generations. I mean, they shaped the jungle.
Right, so they weren't just living in it, they were engineering it.
Exactly. And Mojo spent years in the deep jungle before the official university expedition even arrived. He learned to listen to the environment. He understood how sap responds to pressure, how to graft and train a root system, much like a gardener would espalier fruit tree along a wall.
So the roots eventually grow over and fuse around the box, creating a cage under immense natural tension.
Exactly.
And if you try to hack it out with a machete, the tension snaps and the roots just crush the box.
Precisely the mechanism. You need two people applying opposing specific pressure to release the natural tension without triggering a catastrophic collapse of the root cage.
Wow.
He didn't just bury a box, he weaponized the living architecture of the jungle to protect it.
And before Mikah can even fully process the reality of a 50-year-old botanical safe, the theoretical danger becomes entirely physical.
Oh yeah, the window.
She is sitting in the Sedona house, parsing through this journal when a rock the size of a baseball smashes through the front window.
And wrapped around that rock is a simple, unambiguous message. Leave the past buried.
Yeah. And a fraction of a second later, a knife is thrown deep into the adobe wall.
And tied to the handle of that knife is a strip of fabric. And not just any fabric, but one bearing that same star pattern, the Chabial Mark,
Right.
Kuhul cloth, woven by a clandestine group known as the Brotherhood.
The Brotherhood.
Yeah, they are the enforcers of this hidden threshold. So the knife on the wall isn't a random act of vandalism, it's a formalized death threat.
It's the catalyst that violently forces Mikah out of her academic bubble. She realizes instantly that she cannot survive this alone.
No, she needs a team.
She might have the visionary understanding of her grandfather's archaeology, but tactically, she is totally out of her depth. And this is where the narrative really kicks into gear with the road trip.
Right, because she just throws her stuff in the car and goes.
Yeah, Mikah starts driving through the night to assemble her people. We get this great gritty detail of her eating terrible gas station roller dogs at 2 a.m., just burning up the miles.
That's such a good detail.
It establishes this shared history she has with her contacts. These aren't people she found on a dark web forum. These are friends she's been in the trenches with before.
The trust is already there, which is vital, given what they are about to step into.
Absolutely. So first on the roster is Josh. He's the tactical realist.
Yeah.
By the time Mikah reaches his San Diego apartment, we see exactly how he operates. His front door isn't just locked. The apartment is rigged with a paracord alarm system physically attached to his refrigerator.
I love that part.
If someone breaches the door, it pulls the cord, dropping a cast iron pan in the kitchen to wake him up.
It's so paranoid, but also so smart.
He brings the threat assessment, the fake passports, the field surgery kits, and a Glock wrapped in an old Smithsonian t-shirt. He's the muscle and the logistics.
He also brings the underworld connections, like an untraceable cargo pilot named Rios.
Right, Rios.
But muscle and maps aren't enough to solve a 50-year-old academic conspiracy. That's why Kate is indispensable.
Kate is great.
If Josh is the tactician, Kate is the empirical skeptic. She is a textile conservator by trade.
Yeah.
She treats tiny moth holes in fabric like profound historical mysteries.
She is the one who forces the group to ground their operation in the scientific method.
Exactly.
While Mikah operates on intuition and hope, Kate demands verification. When Kate looks at that faded Polaroid of the Mayan stela, she doesn't just see the Chabial warning sign.
No, she pulls out her jeweler's loupe.
Yeah, she zooms in on the edges of the star symbol.
And what she finds fundamentally changes their understanding of the site. She spots tiny, deliberate notches carved into the rock.
Just tiny notches.
Yeah, and they aren't decorative weathering, they are depth markers.
Mm-hmm.
Mojo mapped out exactly how far down into the soil to dig.
The synergy between the three of them, Mikah's vision, Kate's skepticism, and Josh's pragmatism, it's just incredible to watch. There's this pivotal scene in Josh's rigged San Diego apartment where they are gathered around the coffee table.
Oh, the map scene.
Yes. They've spread out Mojo's hand-drawn map of Sector 4. The parchment is covered in frantic annotations and compass headings. And Kate, using that same conservator's eye for detail, spots a physical anomaly in the paper.
A literal hole punched right through the upper right quadrant of the map.
Right.
Right at the coordinates for Sector 4, Lot 12B, the exact location of the ceiba tree.
The Brotherhood shot the map. They put a bullet through it to destroy the location.
But Kate examines the curling edges of the drafting paper where the bullet exited.
And she realizes Mojo used a specific archival adhesive to attach a tissue-thin second layer of tracing paper underneath the main map.
A double-blind layer.
Yeah, she carefully peels it back.
And underneath that top layer are the real coordinates, the hidden river roads, and a massive warning stamped in block letters, "Don't trust the trees."
Don't trust the trees. I mean, Mojo knew someone would eventually come for the map. He anticipated the violence, so he hid the truth in a structural layer only a textile expert like Kate would ever think to look for.
It highlights a critical survival mechanic for this team. In a high-stakes, lethal environment, blind spots get you killed.
Yeah.
If Mikah had gone alone, her visionary optimism would have blinded her to the depth markers and the hidden map layer. If Josh had gone alone, he'd survive the jungle physically, but he wouldn't possess the archaeological context to decipher the root mechanism.
Right. He probably just tried to hack the box out and crush the evidence.
Exactly. They desperately need the friction of their different disciplines to piece together a complete picture of the threat.
So they have the real map. They have their triad of skills, but they still have a massive target on their backs. Why go after them now? Why is a 50-year-old box of soil samples and field notes suddenly worth sending an assassin to throw knives through windows in Arizona?
Well, the timeline of the aggression is directly tied to what Kate uncovers through her academic network.
Okay.
It all leads back to a man named Schechter. Schechter is a highly connected rival archaeologist. He actually sits on the archive committee at USC, which means he acts as a gatekeeper. He controls what institutional history gets canonized and what gets quietly buried in a basement box.
And he wants Mojo's 1974 findings permanently buried. Kate digs deeper and finds out Schechter is hosting a highly exclusive invitation-only auction in Geneva in July.
An illegal auction.
Yes. The private catalog listing references a Sector 4 cache of pre-Olmec jade and obsidian ceremonial objects, and the estimated value is $14 million.
$14 million completely changes the ecosystem of this narrative. It turns this from a dusty academic rivalry into a massive cartel-level enterprise.
Oh, absolutely.
The lockbox isn't the treasure. The lockbox is the leverage.
Let's trace the logic there. The lockbox contains the provenance records, the original photographs of the artifacts in the dirt, the field notes from 1974. Schechter has been secretly looting a site that belongs to the Guatemalan government for a decade.
Yeah, fencing national heritage to private billionaires.
Right. If Mojo's original documentation surfaces, it destroys Sikistov's. Schechter's academic standing alerts the international authorities and tanks a $14 million auction.
Schechter cannot afford for Mikah to reach that tree. So if Schechter gets to the lockbox first, he burns the evidence, and the Geneva auction goes off without a hitch.
But if Mikah and the team retrieve it, they have the proof to dismantle his entire operation.
Leverage is the only currency that will keep the three of them alive once they cross the border.
So they are launching a heist against a heavily resourced enemy. Schechter isn't just an academic sitting in an ivory tower, he controls the access points.
Yeah, Josh does some digging and finds out Schechter has men working rotating shifts at the commercial airport in Flores, Guatemala.
Right, they are physically checking passenger manifests and scanning faces for flights coming from the States.
So Schechter has the front door locked down tight. The team has to find a back door. They can't fly commercial, which forces them to pack up Josh's apartment at 4:30 in the morning and drive through the Mojave Desert toward Flagstaff.
Because the plan is to catch a ride on a sketchy off-the-books cargo plane flown by Josh's contact Rios. And the narrative tone shifts drastically during this drive. It moves from an urban logistical thriller into something much more eerie and unsettling.
Oh yeah, the compass.
Yes, sitting on the dashboard of the Jeep the entire drive through the dark Mojave is Mojo's old compass.
Yeah.
And it is entirely malfunctioning.
Well, malfunctioning is one word for it.
Right, because instead of pointing to magnetic north, the needle is locked pointing northeast, the exact heading for Guatemala, the exact heading for the Ceiba.
And Kate is deeply rattled by this. As the empiricist, she relies on verifiable data. A compass aligns with the Earth's magnetic field.
Right, it's science.
Yeah, for a compass to lock on a specific geographical point thousands of miles away, it must be reacting to an unimaginably powerful localized magnetic anomaly, or it's not reading standard magnetism at all.
She hates that the instrument is behaving like a magical artifact.
Oh, she despises it.
The tension over the compass boils over when they pull off for gas in Barstow as the sun is coming up. The desert is flat white and desolate. And waiting for them in the empty gas station parking lot, leaning against a dusty green pickup truck, is a woman.
Carmelita.
Yeah, she's smoking a hand-rolled cigarette, Her arms are covered in intricate vine tattoos, and she has a very distinct faded scar on her temple.
And the scar is in the shape of the Chabial Mark, the exact same symbol carved into the lockbox and woven into the cloth wrapped around the assassin's knife.
Right. Her name is Carmelita, and she isn't just some random fixer Rios hired for ground transport.
No.
She is a survivor of the original 1974 expedition. She was standing next to Mojo 50 years ago when he found whatever is out there.
And Carmelita's arrival completely reframes their understanding of the lockbox mechanism. Mojo's letter stated the tree roots required 2 people to open. Carmelita corrects this misconception.
Yeah, this blew my mind.
She explains it doesn't require 2 bodies, it requires 2 kinds of knowledge working in tandem.
This is where the puzzle pieces snap together. Mojo mapped the physical space. He documented the coordinates, the soil density, the empirical data. It's the outside knowledge.
Right.
But Carmelita carries the operational key, the inside knowledge.
She literally carries it. Carmelita pulls out a piece of cured animal hide, intricately inked with star charts.
Which is wild.
Yeah, and these aren't standard navigational charts.
Yeah.
They detail the specific celestial alignments required for the threshold mechanism to open. She reveals that Mojo's compass on the dashboard isn't pointing to a magnetic north. It's locked onto the resonance of the inside knowledge that she carries.
She is the human key.
Exactly. She is the human key.
Which is mind-bending on its own. But Carmelita drops a bombshell during the final leg of the drive up to the Flagstaff airfield that fundamentally alters the stakes of the entire deep dive.
Yeah.
Because we've been operating under the assumption that in 1974, Mojo discovered a threshold, realized it was dangerous,
Yeah.
buried the proof in a root cage, and ran.
Right.
Carmelita tells them that's only half the story. Mojo didn't just find the threshold. He crossed it.
He went underground.
Yeah.
Carmelita says he stepped through the threshold and was gone for 45 minutes of our time. But when he came back up, his consciousness had been permanently altered.
Whoa.
He suddenly possessed a lifetime of ancient jungle secrets. He understood the material hierarchy of the site. He knew how sap responds to human blood. He spoke the hidden language of the environment.
I have to pause on the physics of this because it is staggering. How does a human brain process generations of complex environmental data in 45 minutes?
I know.
Like, are we talking about severe time dilation within the threshold where 45 minutes on the surface equates to decades underground?
Boy.
Or is the threshold acting as an interface that bypasses conscious learning, writing data directly to his neuroplasticity? Like a biological hard drive downloading an archive?
The narrative leans heavily into the latter.
Okay.
The jungle itself acts as a massive biological storage system. The threshold is the interface port.
Man, that is.
The Brotherhood branded Mojo and Carmelita as heretics, not just because they trespassed, but because the human mind isn't engineered to hold that density of data. The biological download fundamentally rewires you.
So they're no longer just racing Skeptic for a box of paperwork to stop an illegal art auction.
Yeah.
They are walking toward a mechanism that alters human consciousness and shatters the boundaries of physics.
And we've tracked these characters from a dusty sunbleach house in Sedona to a paranoid rig department in San Diego and finally to a freezing airfield in Flagstaff with a woman who carries celestial codes on animal hide.
Right.
The physical journey mirrors the thematic journey of the narrative, the sheer danger of uncovering buried truths.
The contrast between the two factions is so stark. Schechter represents the institutional truth. He has the academic standing, the prestigious university backing the $14 million Geneva auction. He dictates the official record.
But the real truth is messy. It doesn't live in a sanitized university archive. It's written on tracing paper, hidden behind bullet-holed maps.
Yeah.
It's buried inside the living, constricting roots of a ceiba tree. It's carrying the facial scars of a woman the academic world ignored and tried to erase.
Right.
Finding the truth requires digging through dangerous hidden layers that institutions and syndicates spend millions trying to keep buried.
And surviving that dig requires a team that covers each other's blind spots. The visionary, the skeptic, and the tactician.
Exactly.
They've reached the starting line. They are standing on the tarmac, about to board that sketchy cargo plane down to Guatemala. But here's the thought I want to leave you with something to chew on as we wrap up this deep dive.
Go for it.
We know the lockbox contains the physical documentation. We know they desperately need it for leverage to dismantle Schechter's operation. But Carmelita confirmed that Mojo crossed that threshold and came back with a lifetime of impossible secrets downloaded into his brain in just 45 minutes.
Yeah.
If Micah, Josh, and Kate survive the Brotherhood outmaneuver Stechter and have to step through that exact same threshold to uncover the final truth, who are they going to be when they come back out?